And we have Chris Monaco live in the studio with us. Good to have you. Good morning.
Good morning, Charles. Good morning, the world.
Indeed, the proposal for 31 more states, and again, we're hearing that 7 of those states are actually more from the southwest. We have 6 in the north central, it's 5 in the southeast, 5 in the northwest, and 5 in the northeast. And so many persons are reacting to that development, saying that this particular number of states that have been proposed, even though large, there's complained that the viability of the one that's already existing is also an issue. And those who already have 7 states are given more. Those who have 5 states are not even being, tailored into these latest 31 states.
Yeah, Charles. Lawmakers pushed for 31 new states. It's all over the headlines, all over the newspapers. I don't want to go into the politics of who wants states, how many you give them. As far as I'm concerned, you can even cut down the one you're giving to Southeast. Cut it by half, take it back, give it to another region, and come back later to tell us you are doing one Nigeria and unity and equity. That's your wahala. My only concern is that more states, I just want to take it from the point of view of the Guardian newspaper. 11.47 trillion debt on the existing. And we have 36 plus 1, 37. Add the 31 new states. Work out the ratio of debt in. You know how those confusing mathematics of index and all those things were, x over 1, 2, 3 equal to x 3, Put it together and you find out that Nigeria is asking for more debt. The first child has not even crawled. You are talking about the second one running. It's an error. It couldn't happen. You said about unviable states. Is it because is the state cola nut? Creating of state, everybody must get it. Why don't we first the ones who need it more now? And think about the ones that are viable. Everything about this contraption you call Nigeria is about, what they call it, what belongs, even when it's not used necessary. Because you want to create state, you now put to 31 state, every region must get. And you get it in that ratio of, the bigger fish get the bigger firewood. So some areas of Nigeria are supposed to have more states, even when we want to create it. Is creation of state our wahala now? Is it our greatest priority? And when you talk about it, some people are saying how many they will get as if it's the Nigerian cake, the legendary cake, national cake they want to cut. Oh, well and good. Nigeria, create more. Why 31? Why are we limiting ourselves? When you creation of state is like chop one. All those minted snacks and pack it, make it 100 states, and every Nigerian will go home happy. The hunger and hardship we are facing, that will not want to be hyperinflation. Create states. That shit, every local government should be a state. So we have 774 states in Nigeria. Why are they even looking for states when you have already enclaves? 774. Make them states. Give them governors, and then we coast home dry and happy. Is that not what they're saying? Why are we this confused? I don't know what you want me to say. Everybody wants state. Me, I want states. I want Chris Maduka states. Give me one. It reminds me. When they were, those early days, they were doing local government creation. There's a particular local government. The woman from that place, when you pronounce headquarter, then they were saying headquarter, it was the slang. Then one of the women said, I heard that they are giving her quarter. They should give her Kwarikwata too. She needs it. So I heard the Nigerians are debating about National Assembly. We go there, waste our time debating creation of 31 states. I didn't know waste of time. So give Kwarikwata states to everybody. Give it to me too. If I are wasting time because we were, that's why I don't know to repeat myself. We have 771 local government, make the states. Then the hyperinflation dissolves. The selling of fuel, buying fuel at 1,400 naira dissolves into thin air. Telecom hike becomes zero. There will be no hike. Electricity becomes free for all. No more wahala. There's a country that will put themselves together, pay some stupid people to go somewhere and discuss irrelevant material when we have issues. So if one state, some people have discussed about creation of state, they got to the point of first reading, second reading, they protocol the thing. Then you just scatter it and start all over. So that we discuss that one state, everybody must get their share. And they say we are talking about fairness and equity in Nigeria. We are deceiving ourselves, and that's what we are getting. If there are issues in this country, it's about fairness and equity. And we're looking for who we say. Create more states, Charles. Let's move on things we can talk about.
Manufacturers warn federal government against...
And who has ever listened to their warning? Who has not warned about hike? And who has listened? If you want too much and you give deadline, the way you go and on your strike is that day the federal government will create committee to look into what you want, warned and warned. Man is warning now. Very soon they will give deadline. If man go on strike, what will happen in Nigeria? Man probably will not go on strike. Manufacturers Association of Nigeria. And their name sounds so, so synonymous, because if you have men in Nigeria, and the Bible said all men, meaning woman, that's in Bible, but there's no gender. So if man, as their name implies, means all. It means it's becoming a time we review whether this man thing, they are coming from telling us the biblical man, all men should think about warning the federal government that this hiking is hikes of tariffs so too much for one small country. Coming at the same time, back to back. As even you are talking, that sickness has not gone round. There are somewhere planning about hike in electricity and already giving templates. So that will tell you, you are just talking to ourselves. Nobody listen. If it's the place we say we are playing democracy, by now there should be negotiation. This is why this should be necessary. Engage people, talk to them. But it is in Nigeria, that's where you have government talk to the people. The government of Nigeria does not talk with the people. And this is the era we find so many governments of the world talking with the people. That's the difference with our own. So our kind of democracy is the kind that Fela Anikulapo Kuti of blessed memory said is democracy. Because if it's the same democracy we practice, you do not hand over these hard policies by force. You just, once you say it, your word becomes law. So what man can as well get and warn? Who is listening to man?
All right. Opposition plans unveiling of mega coalition in the month of June. I don't know what you would make of the composition of that
I've talked
coalition.
about it so many times. Tony Montana in the film Scarface said, if you want to shoot, you shoot and stop talking.
But I was asking about the coalition of that, the composition of the coalition. What would you like to see in that composition? And because of what has happened in 2023, there is still some bad blood about 2023. Atiku feels like Peter Obi betrayed him by taking the route that he took. But if he was the vice, they would have won that particular election, given the numbers that he and Peter Obi gathered. If you put them together, it's above 8.9 million votes that Tinubu got. And Peter Obi still feels like he was ousted. It was Atiku's ambition that made him leave the party. So there's still some bad blood. So with what you from your own end with the coalition, because I know that there will be an agreement before that coalition is even formed. Who will become the president, who will become the vice, and some sort of agreement that will be taken into consideration. Some, of course, the dynamics of the country as well. What do you think that should be taken into consideration forming that kind of coalition?
Is it a new Nigeria or the old one? Is it a country where no agreement works, a coalition agreement? Consistently, people have failed agreements. Because me and you can sit here, sweetheart contract agreement we sign. When you get back home, your wife tells you, Charles, what did you sign with Chris Madigan? Kai! You cannot sign that kind of thing. The man will swallow you up, he will kill you, he will cheat you. You come back tomorrow. And I said, oh boy, wait till we sign, you'll be mute. You swallow all your thoughts. Now, it brings fear. If the people pushing all these people, we allow them, because there are agreements, there are pacts that have been signed, sealed, and at the end, some people, the same Nigerians, will go against it. And they go against something that you took with oath, sealed it with the will of the people who are there. And you want to go against it and still find peace. Nigeria need to go back in time and sort out so many things. You are just talking about the latest between Obi and you are expecting. If what happened in the recent past continue in the recent future, everybody going to Nigeria signing any agreement in Nigeria should be careful, especially people from certain group who have been marginalized over time, who their words they will bring you in. Like the legendary story my lecturer told me, he said, Chris, you came after how many years you graduated from my school for me to sign reference letter for you? You think, he put his glass here, he's a professor, he said, think professors are commercial sex workers. You walk in any time you want and then you lay down with them and you walk away. When you graduated, you are just coming back. That is what they are doing to a certain group of people in Nigeria. Whenever they need you, they will tell you small stories. Those stories you tell women when they are on top of the bed. When I go to Aba, I'll buy you Onisha. When I go to Enugu, I'll buy you Udi. When the man had his way and is over, they give you that kind of greeting. Bicycle riders. Have a bicycle rider visited you in your house? When you are seeing the man off, you'll be rolling his bicycle. When eventually you go to the point you want to say, oh boy, you have to go now. You know how the man will climb his bicycle? He will give you the backside. And that's it. If Nigerian politicians stop treating some politics or group of people in Nigeria with that story of the bicycle rider giving of nyash as you go, you just throw away nyash for them and walk out. Nigeria will begin to go back to. So, if Peter Obi, for instance, go and tell his followers, oh boy, you are pushing for coalition. We have now licked our wound enough of what happened in the past, just few years back. We are not even going into years. We're just talking about 2 or 3 years. And so let us be very careful. That's what everybody who has followed that agreement will be thinking about. Who are you going to sign it with? The same group of people with the same followers will bring you back to do what? They first of all have to tell themselves the truth. And they become so determined that when they sign a pact, they follow it. Otherwise, they're just deceiving themselves. And deceiving our followers who follow them. Some of them will even go and collect money from the opposition, come and tell you it's a rape. Before you know it, they will say, you know when you say, when you follow somebody to, he sells you off to the enemies and turn his back. You'll be calling him, you'll be left in the dark. So let the politicians who are insincere stop deceiving their followers. If they want to sign pact, let them come out and sign pact. Seal it with their. There's this Nollywood stories of being in love. When they say, I will marry you, let's say they do blood covenant. You pinch yourself, you do hand like that. I think that's what the kind of thing they should do. If I ever deceive you, if they don't do that, they have deceived themselves over time, so they are signing pact with the mouth. Ana do onyo hiji odu. O lo bi na pimbazo. You are advising the young thief. You're counseling him not to stop thieving yam. But the man is carving the tools by which he steals yam in his mind. Mbazu is the tool he was used to harvest yam. And it's just a metal that the blacksmith people will go to the end and, tap it, and it looks like a weapon. So they use it to harvest yam so that you bring out your yam. So if you are advising, counseling the young thief to stop thieving yam, but his mind, he's carving mbazu, the tool of harvesting yam with his mind. Don't you think you are pouring water on the top of stone? That is it. That is it. So, good luck to the people who want to. But to remind you, Mbada Daribi is Uludinta. If you are going for hunting and you go into the event, you find very big bushmeat that has a swollen scrotum. It is the benefit of the hunter because he won't run. He will be I remember the kind of words I hear people use every day. He will be low-hanging fruit for the hunter, Until they do that, they are deceiving themselves.
Right.
Army general abduction that's when abduction has gone to army generals. It means nobody is safe. So the people in power can use all the platoon of army soldiers to hide yourself now. But you know that when you retire, you become as vulnerable as ever. So best thing, all of us put hands together to settle the problem of insecurity. Because what happened in recent time, it means nobody is safe.
All right. Just because of time, we'll have to leave it here,
The Southeast, where funerals are determined, the government they take the tax.
By gunmen, yeah. That's
and these are some unheard stories. Somebody was shouting the other day in a viral video that in his town, that he has some big men. He mentioned them that come from his own community. But like over 5,089 people have been killed in the last 4 years in his community. But none of those big men are talking. They can't come home. You can't do funerals. Anything you want to do, you go to talk to the government to give you permission. So there are some hidden things happening in Southeast Nigeria.
Which
and
part
we are
of the
talking about
Southeast?
in Anambra State.
Anambra State.
And some part of Imo.
Wow.
Some places are occupied by government. The bushes, the areas, communities are occupied. So nothing happens there. So those are the ones, they run parallel government. And if you want to permission, as your government are giving rules of what they are giving theirs. So if you want to bury your dead, they give you permission, tell you terms. Thank you, God bless Nigeria. Our time is up.
Thank you so much, Chris, for your insights. So we're back shortly after this break. Do stay with us.